Hi guys, so after about 366 days or something, I thought I'd do a bit of an update on the Unimog. Yeah, my plan of doing a video a month has not really worked out that well, but we have been making some progress. The bed is bolted on and half painted. Just got to make some little tie-in plates to tie the runner into the side. Bed is actually all bolted down now. Would you believe? Got a little bit of an exhaust, battery, winch on a proper winch tray. Need to cut the hole for the fair lead. Fuel tank. Can't really remember what videos had done before, but fuel tank's got a nice bracket. It's got to have a strap over it, but we'll figure that out. So this is how I've done the bed, so it pivots at the front. And at the back, and then in the middle, it's solid mounted. So basically it can't pivot. It can't pivot when you stand on it, but when the actual chassis pivots, when the chassis twists, it will pivot properly, I'm hoping. I've yet to decide what I'm going to do with this back bit, whether to cut it off. I think I might just cut these off and leave the hitch on there because it'd be handy for something, maybe. Maybe I'll put some stainless loops as well, so you can strap onto it. Yeah, obviously there's still loads and loads to do, but I think it's kind of looking like something now. Never know whether to be zoomed in or zoomed out. Whether that's blurry, don't know. And then under, oh, that's dark. That's not worked very well. Let's get a bit of light on the situation. Swish moped. Come on, try to do this all with one hand. Unplug the battery for a minute. Just got the battery charging because it's not run onto the alternator yet. And I've been moving it a bit and not charged it once, so I figured it was probably a good idea to... Yeah, sorry, my voice is a bit croaky at the minute because I've got a bit of a cold. So this is what I've done so far, is a little bit of a fuse box. Starter solenoid, brake reservoir bracket, new one, onto the original pipe. So hopefully we've got to chase a load of leaks with brake pipes, but it's a start. Just been doing this copper pipe today. Yeah, it's a bit wrinkled. Don't at me. It's nice and tight to the engine. I'm going to put a little bracket, hold it next to the cam cover. And you can probably see it a little bit better. Also been cutting the floor out, ready for a bit of plating. So there's my... So now this panel kind of fits where it's supposed to. need to make a weld on a bit of alley tube, and then I'm thinking light. Helps if you take the light with you. Maybe I need a light for the top of my phone. So I'm thinking through here, and then back on here. This needs a load of work to make the air filter go again. So there's a bit of rust on it. But I might just put a Land Rover filter in there. I haven't decided yet. Well, so I have started plating in on the other side. So get this back on without too much. It is too much aggro. Too far. Something like that. Obviously it does go, now that copper water pipe's in, it does fit a bit better. Yeah, obviously the termites have been eating all of that in there. And then I get a bit of a better view around the other side, what I've been. Hopefully you can hear me okay. That'd be a pain in the ass if this is not recorded properly. So I started plating the floor black in. The seats just sat on there for a minute, cutting out all this rust. Obviously, like I said before, I was just going to try and find a cab, and probably will buy a cab if one comes up, but for the minute, use this one, because this is what I've got. So I think the next thing I've got to do is take the cab off, really. I work out where this footwell's going to finish. So I've probably got to cut a bit more out, so it's got a bit of clearance next to the pump. And yeah, work out where that's going to go. Bring it all back in. Obviously the other, I don't know where it is, the other bit of engine cover fits on there as well. But it's going to need a modification to fit up against this, because obviously it's a load further out than it used to be. And then I'm going to cut this wing down and bring it straight flat, so you've got enough room. I haven't really figured out. I think what I'm going to do is mount this, so the clutch, I'm going to unbolt it, and I'm going to drill the whole way through the chassis and put the pedal this side of the chassis to bring it over to here. And then I'm going to move the brake pedal into where the clutch pedal was, and then I don't know, I'm going to have to like dog leg it underneath this bracket to get it back on the original mount for the cylinder. I don't know, there might be enough room just to move it over a little bit, cast a big shadow over it. But I don't think that's a problem to put the pedals in. So put this one on the outside, this one in here, and then have a little dog leg in it back into the cylinder originally, where how it goes normally. And then I have enough room for a throttle pedal. Obviously at the minute I'm using my old trusty hand throttle. Yeah, also I'm not entirely sure that the steering wheel's in the right place, because I think it's got to go up. I don't think there should be that gap, because I can sit in the seat and I can barely turn the steering wheel because it's like on top of your lap. Yeah, obviously the other thing I've done is I've got rid of the oil filter housing. So now I've got a remote filter. I've just put it on the block for the minute. I'm not sure where it's going to go. I don't know, I might keep it there. So I made a take-off plate with all alley fittings. I moved my oil pressure switch to there. That works well. It didn't work well to start off with. because I was using the original gasket and it was a bit, oh goodness sake. The original gasket was a bit too worn out. So I made a new paper gasket and I sealed it up and it doesn't seem to be leaking. Touch wood, obviously that diesel's quite yellow. Yeah, I think it's coming along good. I'm currently fun employed, I'm calling it. I haven't got a job at the minute, so I'm making the most of my time and coming down to the workshop and getting on with jobs. Like, even if I can get it to the stage where I can pull the body back off now, and then I can get all the engine stuff buttoned up, so all the exhaust made properly and mounted. Obviously at the minute, put that torch back around there. That's a beast. At the moment, the exhaust is just sort of hanging in midair and the wire's holding it in. So if I can take the body back off, then I can get all the exhaust mounted properly. I've got to change this bend here because it's a bit too tight on the body. Yeah, obviously the cab is its own entity, so I can just lift it off. I'm going to make a little wooden jig, I think, to come off down here in each corner, so that when I either reverse it back a little bit onto the ramp or coming forwards, and then it'll be able to lift it high enough to clear the steering wheel, and then I can drive the Unimog out again. Because that's the problem I had before, is the lift. I was hanging it by some straps, so the legs of the ramp were coming across the front here, but it didn't go high enough. Oh, it was a disaster. An absolute disaster. So I'm thinking that modification will make it much easier to take on and off, and then I'm just going to plate in this back. I'm not too worried what it looks like. I think I can make a good enough job of it. Look for some lights as like a Caterham, because they're on like a, you can see like a post here, like a Caterham style bulb, because obviously that one is kaput. And then I can get all that wired up. I think it's that all that stuff's relatively straightforward to wire up with the relays. And I'll get some simple tail lights. Obviously there's already a pressure switch on the brake cylinder, so I don't need to do any of that. Hopefully that still works. If not, I'll get another one that's exactly the same. I'm sure it's like a Lucas part, I'm sure. But yeah, obviously I have been making progress, slowly but surely. Like I say, now I'm looking for a bit of work. I've retrained to become an electrician, so I'm looking for electrician jobs. And hopefully I can just concentrate on this sort of thing in my spare time a bit more, because it is a bit boring when you do it all day, every day, and then you come back and the last thing you want to do is do any more mechanical work. You just want to enjoy your evenings. So I've got like a new lease of life into it, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. I said this last year, that I was gonna get one video every month, and I did one, which is crazy. That is not very motivational to anybody who wants to do a project. Also, I've got some Fox shocks. Got given these. So hopefully I'm gonna mount these on the back. I'm sure they've got enough travel. So I'm gonna pull this mount down a little bit and mount them in the back there still. just a bit more modern. There'll be loads better, loads good enough for this. Also, the other thing is now I'm not working on motorsport stuff anymore. Then I've got my toolbox here, which is not this one. My toolbox here, so that makes all the difference, because then you've got all the tools that you would have normally at work ready to actually get spannering on this. So don't have to go, oh, I haven't got that here. It's just all ready to go. So yeah, it's worked out well. Obviously gonna have to tidy up a bit more, but we're getting there. Feel like we've got plenty of room now, plenty of jobs to be getting on with. And now everything sort of, that's in one lump now, so that's everything I know that I'll need. Obviously headlights and rear lights. There's no other massive bits I need to add. It like runs and drives now really well. Gets up to temperature. One thing I am going to have to do is figure out what I'm going to use for a dash. Light. So I'm thinking like an alley panel to block all these old holes off. Because then I can just rivet it over the top and it still maintains all the holes. The original holes are just underneath, and I'll just cut the ones I want in. One thing I was just looking at as well was the throttle cable. Not really sure what I'm going to do with that yet, because the old one is broken. I'm not sure if I'll ever get another one. I don't know. There's a bit of old stock about, new old stock about. See, that end is no good now. I'm not sure whether I did that. Probably I did. I've also taken all the gun racks off. It's a big pile of bits, but all the bits I want. Taking the gun rack off the back of the seat. The gun rack off the top of the coolant reservoir. I think it looks pretty smart now. Rusty, but smart. Well, like I say, I'm going to try and keep you guys more up to date. Hopefully I've figured out how to film with my phone now, so it will take up a slightly smaller amount of my time to get it all done and up on YouTube. Thank you for watching. See you in a bit.